Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday. We made it to Friday, March 26th, 2021. It is a chilly day here in Chicago, but yet again, for like the third day in a row this week, I really thought I might have to kind of skip the run for this morning because of the weather, but it turned out being a pretty decent day for a run. Everything's kind of wet and damp because it did rain a whole bunch yesterday during the afternoon and evening, but I was able to get in a nice recovery run for today and feeling good about it. Right now, though, it is chilly. I had the winter jacket back out. I walked the dog and took the girls out for their lunchtime walk in a winter cap. So that's kind of back where we are temperature-wise. But other than that, I cannot complain. Everyone listening in on the podcast version, audio-only version, welcome. Hopefully you guys are having a good run or enjoying hopefully a traffic-free commute home for the weekend. And everyone catching this on YouTube after the fact, totally understand. Hopefully the work week ends for you nicely and you are now relaxing and enjoying the live stream. All right, we got Philip Bourne here saying, good day, everyone. What's going on, Philip? Good to see you again. Recycle on Wednesdays here. And it says, we got a new treadmill today. Awesome. Just trying to get a few workouts and figuring out how to calibrate to the watch. 2 failed calibrations so far. Wow, interesting. I've never calibrated a treadmill before. I've never tried that. I mean, I guess it's been a long time since my parents, we had a treadmill when I was like in early high school, like junior high school. That was the last time I remember having one. Other than that, the only treadmills I've gotten on are ones that are not mine, so I can't really calibrate them. So that's interesting. And I'm wondering, are you going to get the dog? Is Pip going to get to go on the treadmill at all? Or is it just going to be for you? Jeff Elliott says, my watch can't seem to understand that I run at different paces on the treadmill. I think it's going to be foot pod or nothing. Yeah. I usually just use the foot pod for everything. And so then it takes care of it. And then for most watches, they have like a foot pod, like a treadmill setting, turns the GPS off. And then you're just getting the data from that foot pod. So that's another way that you can do it. Again, Paul says, what's going on, Kofuzi? Turner from Dallas, Texas, waiting for a live stream start. Well, welcome. What's going on, Turner? And all right. Let's see. Tony Masis is here. David Prabhu. Good to see everybody. Martha's here as well. Sue Ann says, TGIF, everyone? Yes, indeed. And today is the start of spring break for my kids. So my daughter doesn't have school next week. So it doesn't really mean much or mean as much when it's like virtual school and I'm not working. So like normally we'd be thinking about like, should we go to grandma's house for Easter, that kind of thing. But with everything, we're just going to hang out here and probably just do kind of like the same things we normally do on weekends, just all week long, spending a lot of time at the park, at the playground. So far the weather forecast for next week does show quite a bit of rain. Hopefully that'll all clear out and we just get some really nice weather. That would be really nice. David's here, and David wonders, have the live streams been at 20 or 8 o'clock recently? Because I think that I've been missing them. Well, I think what's going on, David, is that we did daylight savings here in the U.S. Of those states that do daylight savings. The ones that do, we did it. I don't know if it's turned on or turned off. I can't remember which way it is, but we skipped ahead an hour. So I think that throws everyone off, especially like in the UK, because I think you guys also do daylight savings, but at a different time than us. So it's just off by a little bit. So, sorry about that. I would say the best way to do it is to just set the reminder. Like if you see, I try to post like the thumbnail, like the schedule thing for the live stream. I try to do that right around 2 to 2:30. Today I was a little bit late. Yesterday I was definitely late on that. But I try to do it like 2 to 2:30 my time or about like an hour ahead. So like you should normally be able to see it then and then just set a reminder. That could probably be the easy way to do it. Zeth Paterka says, happy Friday from Seattle. What's going on, Zeth? How are you? All right. Stevie76 says, yo, what's going on? Cool. Lucas says, happy Friday, my running friends. Excited to make the live stream today. Well, we're happy to have you here, Lucas. That looks like a nice, is that a sunset? I think that's a sunset in his profile pic there. Looks nice. All right. Martha says, work. Talking about work? What's that? Yeah. I guess I don't know. Kevin Birkerton says, UK marathon trial today. Great win for the 39-year-old Chris Thompson in 2:10 and 50 seconds. Yeah. You know, I love, my Twitter feed. I didn't watch it this morning. I think there could have been a way for me to watch it live, if I'm not mistaken. I'm hoping that it'll end up on YouTube because I wouldn't mind watching it kind of like at my own pace later. Pun not intended. But I did see it, and then I saw like all like my Twitter feed just blew up. Half my Twitter feed seems to be from the UK, so like it was definitely popular news there. And then a lot of the runners that I follow in the US, they also were talking about today too. And everyone's like a variety of like, he's 39 years old, almost 40. He turns 40 in like a month or something like that. And or that the fact that he's like a new father. So it's like giving hope to dads everywhere. And I don't want to take anything away from Chris Thompson. What he did is a fantastic. He has had a very long career and has maintained excellence for such a long time. It seems. I don't know. I wasn't aware of who Chris Thompson was before today. But I don't want to take anything away from him. But I'm like, his kid's like 5 days old. So like, yeah, it's a little bit different in terms of like the fatherhood toll on someone's training. If his kid was like 5 months old, then I'd be like, oh man, that guy's doing that on sleep deprived status. I mean, that's pretty impressive. But like his kid's like 5 days old. So I'm joking, but I mean, it's great that he's a dad. Congratulations doing on two counts. I think that's pretty awesome. To me, the way more impressive thing is that he's doing it at the age that he's doing it at, that pretty much 40 years old. It's awesome. I was listening to a lot. It seems like there's a lot of as we're coming like out of the pandemic, it seems like there's a lot of people that are very fired up about training and getting ready for races again. And the ones that, I don't know if it's just coincidence or if this is just a signal or a symbol or like the tip of like, a much bigger story, where it seems like a lot of people in those like late 30s, early 40s into late 40s are coming out with big running goals for 2020, like late 2021 and 2022. And so like, I think that like the fact that a 39-year-old won the UK marathon trials is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Also, a lot of people were talking about is the fact that he's sponsored by On Running, but was wearing out blacked out Vaporflies. And I was just thinking, you know what? Nike really needs to make a blacked out Vaporfly. They need to make a blacked out Vaporfly, just like Martin made the Martin unofficial. Remember how they had it? It was like just the silver packaging, no like label on it, no. It's not white, it's not black, it's just like the silver, like the foil. And then the water bottle they gave it to you in had like a pixelated, blurred, like Martin logo. They need to make like a blacked out Nike Vaporfly. I would buy. I mean, I'm not that interested in buying Next Percents anymore, but I would buy a blacked out Next Percent. That's pretty amazing. I think they need to do that. Justin Fry wants to know, Kofuzi, what mask are you using for running? I can't find one I like. I don't think really anyone can find one that they like. They're not great, but I am testing a whole bunch of different ones now. Kind of like hey, we're still probably going to need these for a little bit longer, and it's getting warmer. So like, I'll do another roundup of kind of the things that I've been running in. The ones that I tend to like the most are ones that I can take down and put back up frequently, like repeatedly, depending on if there's no one around me, I'll pull it down. And then when I'm doing a workout, and if there is someone that I'm passing or someone is coming across me, then I'll put it up. Plus, I also need to have a face covering just going in and out of my building. So I need to have something. So what I usually tend to like are masks that wrap over the head, not this way, but this way, because that can handle the repeated motion up and down better. And then I also like neck gaiters that have elastic around it, because that you can leave it down and around your neck like a kind of like a neckerchief kind of thing easily, and then pull it up, and with the elastic it'll sit on your nose for the little amount of time you need to be covered up. So those are the ones that I generally look for. Mission is one that I just recently purchased, and I like that one because there's a little bit of elastic in it. Buff brand neck gaiters don't tend to have elastic on the top part, so like that gets hard when they get wet. They just get real loose, and they're not as stretchy anymore. So those are some ones that I look at. Ken Sprague says, greetings from Lakeview East, Chicago. All right. You're in the neighborhood. What's going on, Ken? Hope you're enjoying the chilly weather today. All right. My mom's here. How are you doing, Mom? All All right, we got Alan Shrimpton says, good Saturday morning, prepping for my 24K run in the morning. Very cool. And I like that Alan's got a little Bitmoji on a treadmill with pizza in front. I like that. All right. Shiv Skills says, what's your go-to watch for running? Right now I'm enjoying this Vantage M2 because right now I'm not doing any kind of like hill training, so I don't need a lot of the barometric altimeter, and it has pretty much everything else that I need. It can kind of handle it. And I use a foot pod and an external heart rate monitor, so that's one that I'm really liking. That or the Vantage V2. Those are the two that I like the most. On my other wrist, I'm still testing out this Ignite 2 as well. So those are the ones that I'm looking at right now. I like those. The Vantage M2 I feel like is probably the best one, bang for buck for me. I also do like the Coros watches, but I don't like the Coros data as much, like the way you look at it. So like it's kind of like which watch is the best, I feel like is only half kind of like the question. The other half should be like, and how are you going to look at the data too? All right. Sorry, I just jumped. I saw a question about the Strad FootPod, but I do want a spot like this. Shannon says, hey, Co, I enjoyed your Polar Watch review, even though I don't need a new watch. Well done. Thanks. I wanted to take a very different tack because I knew, or I had a feeling that DesFit and DC Rainmaker were going to make their own videos as well as Chase the Summit. So I was like, those guys are going to knock it out of the ballpark as far as like just doing like, here's these watches. And then I was a day late on putting my video out. So, hi, do you see yourself? You want to wave to everybody? And so I knew they were going to make good ones. So I didn't want to if I try to compete with those guys toe to toe, I'm going to lose. So not that it's a competition. And I had an extra day. So I was like, let's do something a little bit different. Let's take a different approach. And I thought that kind of worked. And I really wanted to make it concise. I think I was concise. There was a lot to cover. So, I think I did an okay job. Evan says, I have a race Saturday, and how do I mentally prepare myself for the pain? There's a couple ways to look at it. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot too, is kind of like the mental strength. And, I feel like there's kind of two things that are going on. One is just the strength of it. And I feel like, you develop that through your training by going out there when the weather is bad, when it's cold, when it's rainy, doing the workout, even if you're doing it on the treadmill inside, just getting the work still done, that builds your mental strength to get through that pain. So that's a big part of it there. The other part of it that I've been focusing a lot on for, preparing for the pain is thinking of it like it's just a signal. It's your body's way of trying to tell you, hey, you know what? We can just stop. That'd be kind of cool too. So it's going to start ringing alarm bells for you, but you don't have to listen to them, right? It's just another diagnostic. Think of it as just another data point that you might get from your watch is your body telling you that something hurts, or that the race is painful. But you don't have to let it. My goal is to not let it control my race, but just let it be a part of the race. So that's kind of how I approach it. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but hopefully that helps. Martin Nunes says, hello from Porto, Portugal. Any advice for an almost 40-year-old who's trying to get back into running after the pandemic? Yeah, I think the best way to do it is to focus on not distance, not pace, not even necessarily time that you're going out and resuming and starting back up again. Focus on starting up a new habit. And so just work on the consistency of if you want to run 3 times a week or 4 times a week, make sure every other day you're doing it. And so that requires 2 things. One is setting aside that time. I guess a couple things. Setting aside that time, being unwilling to compromise on whether or not you get to go out and do that. Maybe you have to move it around in the day. Maybe you have to get up early. Maybe you have to kind of go late in the evening or whatever it is, but make no excuse for it and get it done. And the most important part of it is to, do your running or whatever you're doing, walk, jogging is a way that I typically recommend for a lot of people to kind of either start running or resume running after a long break. But do it in a way that you'll be able to do it the next day or 2 days from now. So a lot of people, when they get excited, they're like, all right, I'm gonna get back into it. Boom, we're gonna go for it. And then you go out too hard and then you're like sore for like 3-4 days and you're like, oh, I don't know if I really want to go out. I'm still feeling it from my run earlier in the week. And I'll take another day off. And then 2 days becomes 3 days, 3 days becomes 4. And then all of a sudden you've lost the chance to make that habit. So like focus on building the habit. All right, let me see if I can find that thing about, someone has something about the Stride Foot Pod, but Kevin Bickerton does say that British Athletics TV YouTube channel has the full race coverage. Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. I am going to watch that. Great. British Athletics TV. Okay. Steve Ehrenberg says, I used to listen to podcasts on runs, but lately finding music works much better for me to keep me moving. Yeah, I think that the key to that is to just be like, go with what works. So like I'll do audiobook for a while. See you later. Have fun. The girls are growing out for an outside play date. I'm glad the weather held up for them, so they're able to do that. My wife's taking them out. But like for me, I find that I go in spurts on things. So like I'll listen to audiobooks. I'll listen to usually like 1 or 2, like, you know, in a row. And then I'll be like, I'm audiobooked out. I need something a little bit lighter, nothing that connects from day to day. I just want something like digestible within the run, so to speak. And other times I want music. Other times I want, you know, serious podcasts. Sometimes I want light podcast, you know, so like just go with what works, you know. And I think it's great to have that variety. In the long run, Josh is here. What's going on? What up, Josh? Good to see you. All right. Leona Wong says, hello, hi, fellow Kofuzians. Virtual marathon today. Listen to yesterday's live stream, and the mantras were head cut off and activate the glutes. Awesome. Well, congratulations on doing the virtual marathon today, Leona. Great work. Well done. All right. Oh, Adam Steve. Here's the one I think. Oh, no, here. There's 2 questions from Adam and Philip. We'll do Philip's first. With the Stride Foot Pod, does the recorded distance stay accurate with varying stride lengths? Yeah, it does for me, I think. I mean, I guess I haven't like tested it. I haven't done like a meter by meter test of it. I do have a measuring wheel. Maybe that would be maybe that would be a good way to use that. But I don't think that I've noticed like depending on like cadence versus speed, you know, I don't think it's like saying like, I'm not sure exactly how it measures your pace and distance, but I don't think it's as simple as like it measures impacts and then has some sort of number that it averages out for your average running distance. You know, it doesn't say like every impact it records, it doesn't give you like an automatic like 4 feet or 5 feet or whatever. So like there's a little bit more into it than that. So I don't think that varying stride length is a problem for it. That's that would be my gut. I don't have any, you know, like proof behind that, but that's kind of that would be my understanding of it. And Adam says, hello all, first week with the Stride/Apple Watch combo. Anyone having issues losing connection between the two? Mine used to do that every once in a while. And so like the Stride Apple Watch combo wasn't always my favorite. That's why it was one of the reasons why I looked to getting a different like running watch for it. Although I didn't, and here's where I think it is. And I'll tell you why. When I have used the Apple Watch somewhat recently within the last year, with the Stride Foot Pod, it wasn't a problem. So my understanding is that it might like drop connection momentarily if there's a lot of other like wireless interference. And I'm not sure if it's the Bluetooth or Wi-Fi signals or what. But for me, it would happen when I went like down through certain points downtown. And I remember communicating with Stride about it a long time ago. Oh, you know, it would have been a couple of years ago, back when I was using the Apple Watch as my main running watch. And they were like, you know, things like the sensors in front of like automatic doors, like that could like confuse your watch somehow. and other just weird things like that. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, because like where I'm running, I'm across, like there's me, a highway, and then like automatic doors in some of the, you know, the apartment buildings that are near the lakefront. I was like, so that can't possibly be it. But when I've run with it in Iowa, where there's no sensors anywhere that could possibly interfere with it, it does fine. And I never had any dropout issues. So I didn't know if that was like a firmware update, something that they fixed, or what. So one thing I would check, Adam, is to make sure your foot pod is up to date firmware wise. And I'm guessing it probably is. But the other thing I would wonder is where, if you're running in like an urban environment, that might be causing it. The only thing that's similar to that I've noticed in other devices is, so when I go with any of my watches, and I turn on, like I use the armband monitor, heart rate monitor. When I turn that on, so I usually turn that on like as I'm walking down the hallway to get to the elevator, and I'll turn it on. But I already usually have music or like a podcast playing. Right when it turns on, because that Bluetooth signal is like starting, and it's like, even though that Bluetooth signal from my heart rate monitor is connected to my watch, which is not connected to my earbuds and either my phone or my Apple Watch that I might also run with, even though they're not connected, just that additional Bluetooth signal turning on will momentarily cause like a little bit of like a glitch in the audio signal. So like there's something to that in terms of the interference that happens. So, and I think that all those things are kind of like connected. You know, pun not intended. They're related, I think. All right. Let me know if any of you guys have had anything like that happened. All right. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Sorry, guys, about that. If I missed your comment. La Pizza's here, says, "What up, Co? What's your 10K record?" I think like I think I've only ever raced one 10K before. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe at this point. Maybe, yeah, 4 years ago sounds about right. I think I was like 42 something, 43 something. I'm not sure. So since then, I've done a couple of 10K time trials. I don't remember what my time is. It's something like 41:30 to 42:30, somewhere in, I think it's somewhere in that, somewhere like around 42, I think is where it is. So, all right. Let's see, another one. Nick says, "Hi, Mike. Started with math 6 weeks ago. I enjoy this way of training. Was a bit frustrating the first 5 weeks, though. Yeah. Do you still use math? If yes, how much % of your mileage? Cheers from Zurich." What's going on, Nick? I don't know if what you could call what I do still math. Because my understanding of like what Maffetone training is basically 100% of your running is low heart rate. With the permission of frequent racing. And that phrase, like frequent racing, is pretty vague, but that's the way that kind of like they talk about it in the book. And so like, I'm not really sure if that still counts. I mean, I would say that's pretty much what like pure Maffetone is. You know, I don't want to get dogmatic about it, but like if someone was like, I'm a Maffetone runner, that's kind of what I envision that people are saying. I right now, I feel like Maffetone is something that I default back to when I'm not in a training plan or not getting like race specific. And so right now I was getting ready for an 8K. And then I'm going to piggyback off of that training, having done the 8K, to get ready for a 10K, probably next week, not this weekend, but next weekend. And then after that, I don't have anything else planned. So like, I'll then go back to Maffetone training, where I'll probably do it where everything is low heart rate, except for like my long run day, where I might throw some threshold work or some marathon pace effort in there, which is going to be higher than my Maffetone heart rate number. So that's kind of how I do it. So percentage wise, it'd probably be like 90%. That's kind of how I do it. So, all right. Another question here. All right, Bryce Blankenfield says, "My polar heart rate monitor drops at the end of my runs. At 40 minutes, it will say heart rate is 90 beats per minute. Heart rate is 90 beats per minute. I changed the battery a few months ago. Would it really need a new one already?" And he has a polar chest strap monitor. I would say, yeah. I don't know that that's what's going on, but it could explain it. The chest strap monitor batteries are pretty cheap. So I would say, that'd be the first thing that I would do right away. And for me, I only get like a month out of them, whether I use them or not. And so like pretty much any time that I unless I'm like in a phase where I'm like using it every day, whenever I go to pick up a heart rate monitor, I have to change the battery. That's why I think it's annoying. I think it's really annoying. I'd rather it be, I wouldn't mind it being a little bit heavier, and a little bit more expensive if it just had a way to just plug in like a micro USB port or a USB-C port, or inductive charging would be even better. That makes sense to me, but I don't think there are any that are out there that are like that. Everything uses those coin batteries, which I don't really like. I don't like having them around the house because I tend to lose them. And my kids are old enough that they're not going to be putting things in their mouth and swallowing them, but they look like coins. Not that I mind having coins around the house either, but like I just don't like having those coin batteries around. So I'm pretty annoyed with them. But yeah, I need to replace mine like every 5 weeks. Mr. Random said, hello, happy TGIF, AK, thank God it's friends. Please take a few minutes to reach out to a friend who you have not spoken to in some time. You could save a life. Well, that's a great sentiment, Mr. Random. Love it. Rick Sutter says, Philip Barn and Kofuzi, to Philip and me. Fellow runner tested the Stride Pod against a number of GPS watches and found it to be far more accurate than any GPS watch. Oh, that's cool. I think it's accurate. I trust it. And I think a big part of it is it depends on how much potential interference you might have. So like for me, when I'm running in Iowa, my Stride foot pod data and what I might get from a watch that can't connect to a foot pod, like this Ignite can't connect to a foot pod, the GPS distance and pace information is pretty much spot on. It's very, very accurate. But like here in Chicago, depending on which area I'm running in, it might be really accurate or it could be way off. So I think interference is another thing that can really play into it. But there's not that variance when I'm looking at the foot pod. So I like it a lot for that. Scotty B says, hey all, Target run and done. Oh, I haven't been inside a Target in forever. It may have been since like 2019 that I've been in a Target. I'm trying to think if I was in a Target in 2020. I don't think so. It's been a long time. I kind of miss it in a weird way. MC1796 says, hey Kofuzi, the Garden State Track Club is running a series of track events this spring, summer. There's even a 3K steeple, and he plans on coming to New Jersey to train and race. No, but maybe now I do. I'm going to have to look that up. That sounds pretty amazing. Yeah, I still really do want to do a steeple, even if like, here's the things that would be weird about me competing in a steeple. Like, I don't have any idea how I would train for it. Like right now, how would I even train for it? The cement barriers that were over on the lakefront, they've moved them. They're no longer blocking the path. So I don't even have that to practice with. And for a 3K steeple, I imagine that most people would probably show up in spikes. So I'd probably have to buy a pair of spikes just for the event. Yeah, I don't know. I could be the guy that like runs up to the first steeple and then like stutter step stops and then like throws a leg over. That might be me, but I think it'd be really fun to do a steeple. I think what I'd probably do for all of them is do the thing where you jump up on it and then jump off of it. I think that's what I would do with it for sure. Let's see. Where is that? Someone said something about. Remy says the worst part about those coinciders batteries, getting it open. I've stripped a bunch of those covers trying to twist them open. Yeah. The most recent one, I busted out the Sunto chest strap because I think I left both my Polar. I think the Polar, I'm not sure if I have my Wahoo chest strap. I got to look deeper in the closet to see if I have it. But the first one that I could find was the Sunto one. And that one, you just kind of like flip it open. You just pry it open real hard, which always seems wrong. But that's the way you do it with that one. That one's fine. But like some of them where you got to like, there's like a little groove, and that groove you're trying to like twist it open like it's a Phillips, like it's a, not a Phillips, but like a screwdriver, like a screw. Those, I always mess those up for sure. Yeah. And Ron says, though, we don't want heart rate straps blowing up like Samsung's. Yeah, I mean, but like, you know, they don't have to put in like the batteries that are in Samsung, like in those Note phones that blew up. But you know, whatever batteries are in our watches that don't blow up, give me those non-blowing up batteries inside the heart rate monitor. That's all I'm looking for. And Philip says the Garmin HRM Pro is great. In the Garmin Connect app, it shows you the battery status. That's so nice. They're like, someone was telling me that on the Polar devices, if you look at them in your mobile app, it'll tell you what the battery life is left in like a battery meter. Like it won't say like 20%, but it'll say like, you know, it'll show you like on a dial how much battery's left. I've never tried that. I'm gonna have to try that. But it seems like it also seems like a lot of work. But I do wish there was like an easier way that I can know. Like, what's going on? I'm losing the camera today. All right, let me get the camera. I'll switch to the webcam here. Here we go. All right, we got the webcam. Sorry about that today, guys. We're gonna go with the webcam. I don't know what's going on with my camera. But yeah. Let's see. That's a microphone. Okay. Yeah, but that one also gives you power, doesn't it? The HRM Pro. I think it does. I think that one does give power. I've been looking at that one, but it also seems really big and bulky and heavy. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. La Pizza says, "Will you try the Solomon Phantasm? Is that the one? Is that the one that is recycled? That's pretty much the only Solomon that I might try this year. I think. I just don't think that they're for me. They tend to disagree with me." See, someone said something about, Chris, here's what I'm looking for. Chris Dyke says, I found my Stride FootPod to be more humbling in terms of paces than GPS watches. LOL. Yeah, I mean, and that was something that I was really worried about when I first started looking at the Stride FootPod, and I was like worried about like what these paces were, because I was looking at like the GPS tracings, and I'm like, if the tracing is all over the place, then it's thinking I'm going faster over a certain amount of distance than I am, because I'm covering more distance than I actually was. And then I was like, that means that I think I've been running this average pace for my runs, but I haven't. I've actually been running a whole bunch slower. So I was like, that's not something I really want to be carrying into like a race, and then be like, I don't know why. Every time I race, it just feels like I can't keep up the pace. So like that was like a big thing for me. That I was like, I want to make sure I'm getting the right paces. It's getting dark. All right. Jeff Elliott says, I know with the Garmin heart rate straps, the seal will often get messed up when you swap the battery. Seems like a lot of them only survive a few battery swaps. That's not cool. Well, maybe it depends. I usually go with like a month per battery, but maybe it's different for other brands. Maybe other brands can sip on that battery a little bit longer. I'm trying to remember I think it was the Sunto one that it only seemed to last a month. But I don't know. I'll have to do some. I haven't paid that much attention to it. I need to pay more attention to that. Jody wants to know, does the Polar Grit have mapping? It doesn't have mapping, but it has the Komoot integration where you can send routes to your watch, and then that can then give you turn-by-turn navigation. There's no Polar watch that has like, here's a map of your current location and like some information about the surrounding areas. Like it doesn't give you topo, it doesn't give you like landmarks or anything like that. So they have navigation, but not maps. Postmodern Cowboy says, I'm going to start running Monday or this weekend. Wish me luck. Well, good luck. You're in the right place already if you're coming in and hang out in the live stream. You don't have to run to come hang out here, but most of the people do love running that are here. So I think you're going to love it. I hope you love it. Dr. Josh is saying, imagine Co's flow jumping into the water pit. I don't know. You think they'd let me run a 3K steeple with a selfie stick? I'll be like, don't worry, guys. It's waterproof. So if I fall in the water pit, it'll be totally fine. That'd be a funny conversation to have. I mean, that'd probably be the only way that I would run without a selfie stick at this point, is if I were, on a track in a race, because there's no way anyone would want to get near me if I were doing that. They're like, we're not going to race if you let that guy in here with that ridiculous thing. And let's see, there's another footpod question in here that I want to see. All right, Alan says, Kofuzi, when you have your footpod, do you see footpod pace on your Polar workout screen, or you set up another screen? I don't think that there's a way to toggle between. I don't think it lets you look at both. When you have the footpod connected, it gives, from Polar anyway, it gives you the footpod pace and distance. With Garmin, I'm not sure. The last time I tested a Garmin was a long time ago, and that Garmin 45 doesn't even connect to a footpod. So the last time I'm trying to think about Garmin's, if I've ever tested a Garmin with a footpod before, come to think of it. But depending on the brand, it's not always clear. I think that over time, people are like, oh, Stride footpods, people want to use this thing now. And so they know how to interface with them better. But there was a time where everyone was like, are you sure you're getting pace and distance from that footpod? Or is it actually just giving you power numbers, but the pace and distance are coming from GPS? But with Polar, they've told me I've asked them many times that when you have a footpod synced to the watch, that your pace and distance comes from the footpod. And I don't think you can get it from GPS anymore. Jeff A says, most spikes are pretty affordable. I know they're pretty affordable, but it just seems so weird for me to buy those. At this point, I'm 41. I don't know why I looked at my watch to tell me that my age, but I'm 41. Do I really need to be buying spikes at this point? No, I don't know. Martha says, regarding the steeple, I love the Olympics excerpt we saw of the equestrian version. The horse just stopped and walked around it. Yeah. Can you do that? Can you do that? No, you can't do that in the steeplechase, can you? And then I imagine for equestrian, there's a time penalty if you don't, right? If you knock down a barrier or if you don't go around the water, right? I'm not sure exactly how that works. Remy says, there are hurdles at my track and I think about it. Then I think about what my insurance company would say. Best to leave it alone. Yeah, I know. Every time, when I'm up at the track up here, sometimes there's hurdles that are out there. Usually they're locked up. They're chained to each other because I think a team, it's not something that the city provides. I think a team brings them and just leaves them out there during the summer when they're training. But I've looked at them, I'm like, oh, that'd be nice to kind of set those up, set them to 400 intermediate hurdle height and have a go at it. That'd be kind of fun. I did do did I tell you guys? I did do the 400 intermediate hurdle in high school. I think I ran that event maybe 5 or 6 times. I think that is the most difficult event in track and field. 800 is probably the second hardest. But I think the 400 intermediate hurdles is just insane. It's just punishment the entire time. Dr. Funk 1216 says, do you have a closet full of retired running tech? What do you do with the devices you're not using? I have basically bags of it. And I do think that I'm going to start. I was looking through them as I was making this last watch video. I was like, I don't go back and check compare the Vantage V2 against the Vantage V1. I guess I have done that a couple times, but I'm I don't really need to do that to make the video about these watches. So I think I am going to start giving them away to my friends first, people that I know in real life, and then if none of them want any. But basically, my running buddy is the only one that I know. I don't really have friends in real life that I keep in touch with. But But then I think I'm gonna start doing giveaways on the channel. Some of them are beta units, so I don't think I should give those away. But some of them that are not, like ones that were sent to me that are production units or ones that I bought that I'm not using, I think it's better than having them just collect dust. I think it'd be better off if someone else could get some use out of them. So I will be starting to offload some of that stuff soon. All right. Jeff Elliott says, I ran hurdles in high school and it was rough. The intermediate were okay, but the high hurdles, even at my height, 6 feet, really tore up my legs. Yeah, I'm not that tall, but I also competed in the 110 hurdle a couple times. I was terrible at it. But I think was I the number one hurdler at my school? I don't remember. We didn't have any good hurdlers. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have been doing those events. But yeah, those high hurdles seem so high, and that was at the high school level. I looked at some like Olympic high hurdles, and I'm just like, what? People are running how fast over these things? It's insane. That is insane. All right. Pete G says, hi, Kofuzi. How's it going? What's going on, Pete G? Good to see you again. Oh, okay. The Phantasm that Pizza was asking about was the ones that Killian wore. Oh, yeah. I might take a look at that one. That one does interest me. But I'm thinking probably not. I don't know if I'll be looking at that one. All right, sorry. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom because again, I got distracted and I'm behind you guys in the chat. Okay. Scott says it's 79 degrees in New Jersey right now. That's insane. That is insane. Why is it so hot? That's crazy. Dr. Funk says, I used to have a fear of hurdles, but I got over it. That's funny. Chris Dyke wants to know, when is the 10K time trial? I don't know. I think probably next week is when I'm going to do it. I'll probably get in one more workout tomorrow or Sunday, depending on the weather, a long run, and then another. I mean, just kind of one more week. Not that I need to work, but I want to put another week of time between, at least 2 weeks between the 8K time trial and the 10K. So that way, at least, I can get some, exercise benefit from that, having run that 8K. So that's kind of I feel like part of me is like, let's just do it tomorrow. But, I think my legs might still be a little bit gummy from the 8K, which seems weird because I'm like, I just an 8K. But, I don't know if I'm still 100% fresh. And not that I don't think I'll get 100% by next week, but I think I'll be in a much better position next week. Mr. Random says, hey, Co, did you plan on checking out the UA float, like the Velocity, that one? Yeah, probably. I think I'll probably get to that around the same time I get to the next Reebok float ride. So probably closer to the summer. All right. Keeper says, what's up, fellow ice cream enthusiasts? I love that. Nice. All right. Mr. Goodman says, I'm a new runner and was looking to buy actual running shoes. Are the Nike Infinity React a good idea? They're on sale for $115. I think that's a pretty good one. I think also if you're looking at Nikes and you're looking to get into running, I think another good one to look at would be the Pegasus. The Pegasus is like the daily trainer. The Infinity is going to be a little bit more cushion and a little bit softer than the Pegasus, but the Pegasus is more like the daily trainer. And I usually like to start people out, like if they are like, I want to try running, like help me pick out a good shoe. And if you have a brand preference, I'll go with the daily trainer of that brand. And that's usually a good place to start, because then after you run in that for a while, you can be like, all right, here's things I like about it. Here's things I don't like. And then you can kind of go from there in terms of buying your next shoe. But either one, I think, are good choices. Leona says, what are your thoughts about ice/cold water baths for recovery? I don't like them. I don't like being cold. I don't like cold water. When I get cold, I stay cold for a long time. So I just don't like any of that at all. Like that cryo, recovery stuff that they do. I don't think I'll ever do that. I'm just not that interested. The only time that I think that I would probably do it is, I probably should have done something like that after my 8K. I feel like if you need to really recover quickly, that's when like ice baths are good because it helps keep inflammation down and helps kind of like get the body to flush stuff really quick. But sometimes some of those inflammatory signals are good for you. So like shutting down inflammation, like I think that could happen with an ice bath. I don't think is always the greatest thing. I'm not completely up to date on the science on it. So, I mean, I could be very wrong, but my general feeling about it is unless you are running heats and trying to qualify for something, I'm not a huge fan of ice baths. I know like pros do it when they're running, but like that's a little bit different use case than kind of like the kind of running that I do. So like that's great for them. I know like Meb Kofuzi like always is finding like a river, like a cold river to sit in or an ice bath or something, but he's a different kind of, on a different level, than most of us. So yeah. All right, let's get a couple more and then I gotta get going for the day. Stevie 76 says, I just deposited a wad of cash for my daughter's Girl Scout cookie sales at the ATM. I felt like I was doing something illegal, like it was drug money or something. I think it's really weird that there's like that the ATMs, I still think it's weird that ATMs can accept cash. Like I'm like, how do I know it's not going to miscount anything? I know it's more accurate at counting money than I am, but like it just seems weird to me to do that. All right. Oh, and Dr. Josh says he loves the Infinity, but Dr. Josh loves the Infinity version 1. He doesn't like Infinity version 2, if I'm recalling correctly. Rick Sutter says, anybody else having kids that run who they use to test running products that you might actually be interested in for yourself? It's how I justify spending the money to my wife. That's awesome. That's nice. It's good because it's like it's for the children. That's a good plan. It's a real good plan. I like that. And Dr. Josh does say though that ice baths don't do anything for recovery. So there you go. I was just watching a video on YouTube the other day. It was about a couple, and I forget what event they're both training for, but they're both training for something. I think they're either trying to make an Olympic, like to make Olympic trial standard, or like a U.S. Olympic trial standards or an Olympic trial standard. I don't forget what channel it was, but this young couple, and they played a game where like they had to see who could handle switching from a hot bath to cold bath real fast. Not fast, but you have to sit in one and then switch. And I thought that was pretty cute. But I mean, I like doing that from like a Turkish bath kind of sense, like a bathhouse kind of thing. That's nice. But I don't know how much it does for like a Korean 목욕탕, like if you go to Korean baths, like a bathhouse. But like, yeah, like I'm not sure how much it does for recovery, but a lot of people swear by it. But I've been reading a lot of things that are agreeing with what Dr. Josh is saying, that they don't do anything. And Dr. Funk, going from doctor to doctor, Dr. Funk says, I wish Nike would bring back the OG Epic React. Yeah, I really regret, like riding on Nike so hard about the Epic React 2 being just like a minor update and like being angry about it. Because now I felt like they made the Epic React 1. I loved it. They made the Epic React 2 and I was like, WTF, why is this just a minor upper update? Give me something new. And then I felt like they were like, fine, if you don't like this, we're just going to stop making it. So now I'm like, no, give me an Epic React 3, please. It could just be like a minor upper update, but I like the Flyknit. I like the amount of React rubber in it. Like it was good. Just can have another one, please. I won't tease you for the Epic React again. So like, I don't know why they got rid of that shoe. Or if not that, let's compromise. Maybe an Odyssey React 3 with Flyknit. Maybe. I thought the React 2 with Flyknit was a good shoe. Sizing was wrong, but it was a good shoe. All right. And let's do one more, last one for a day. Esteban Diaz says he's currently growing out the hair as well. Do you enjoy having long hair or shorter when you run? Any preference? Right. I mean, I'll say I'm going to hold reserve on getting my final answer until it gets real hot this summer. Then we'll see. I got very thick hair. The hair that I have left, I mean, this forehead's getting bigger and bigger every year. But the hair that I have left, there's a lot of it. It's very thick. It's very hot. So like we'll see how much I end up liking it still in the summer. But right now, I either want it much shorter, like my regular hair length, or this length or longer. Like in between, it was super annoying because like I couldn't really put it up, and it just was always in the way, and it was just like constantly in my face. Now I can get it out of my face, so I like it at this length. I like running it with my hair in like the little tiny man bun ponytail thing that I can do. I like that. That's awesome. Highly recommend. I like it, but we'll see when it gets really, really hot. All right. I think that's a great place to end it for today, guys. Tomorrow, there's not going to be a video. So tomorrow will be like the day off from videos. But we will have a live stream. Same time as today, 3 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you guys again. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody, and have a good weekend. Thanks.